Karen is back now to share tips for creating a beautiful front yard gardenscape and how to make sure it suits your home and property for years to come. So Karen, what is the biggest challenge homeowners often face?
Well, you know what? It's impossible to miss this enormous tree in the middle of the yard. Because it's a mature tree, it takes up a lot of space and you don't even see the foliage anymore. So a lot of times it's hard to do plantings around this because of all the root system, and the scale is enormous. The previous owners had added lots of rocks, and they had shrubs on the north side and then lots of weeds coming through, and it was just really unbalanced. It really didn't give the house any curb appeal. As well, there was a concrete stoop that had the black railing that just really looked outdated, and the old storm door. You know, the whole thing needed updating. And an important thing to remember, when you're considering updating your home, this one's eventually going to have a top-up. Keep the money and the money you invest on the outside of the perimeter. Because if you do it next to the house, the concrete stoop, for example, if it became a beautiful new stoop, might get destroyed when you top up.
Okay, that is a smart consideration. So what did you end up doing with this challenging yard, Karen?
Well, one of the things I wanted to do was make it a little bit more contemporary. So I added really beautiful contemporary finishes. I went galvanized steel and black accents. And if you're a fan of social media, I'm sure most of us are, you'll notice there's a lot of weathered steel, the courtesan steel that we're seeing on social networks. And of course it's beautiful, but it doesn't suit everybody's home. It's very modern and it's also trendy. So the thing about trends is one day they won't be trendy. So keep that in mind if you're thinking about longevity and what you're picking for your home. We also decided that we were going to update the facade. So we went with this beautiful wood siding. And at the same time, unfortunately, I had to add another layer of shingles because the roof needed to be updated as it was getting old. Ideally, if you're topping up, you don't want to do this. So to be cost effective, I went over one single layer of shingles as opposed to removing them all.
Absolutely, but you did a great job. So what about in the garden and the entryway? What did you do there?
Well, one of my favorite features about the front garden is I added this gabion wall full of stones, and this was inspired from seaside living. It's architectural, it's indestructible, and then I didn't want to do a whole wall of that and then come around the perimeter. It would have been just too much. So I did this beautiful bent metal wall that I had fabricated. I also decided to maintain the concrete stoop, but I reparged the entire thing and painted it so that it looks more up to date. I also decided to remove the asphalt that came right up to the stairs and added this beautiful walkway out of permeable stones. It makes the house feel much more inviting.
I love that entryway, and I love your taste in mats, because I'm pretty sure we have the same mat outside of our front door as well. It's a good one for all year round. Okay,
I like your taste too.
Thank you. I'm influenced by the best. Now, I also noticed it looks like you changed the front door, and I love it. Tell us about that.
Well, the front door was a vintage find, and I love this teal color, but what I did was I added the leaded glass to give it a little bit of character. I added the letter slot and the black hardware, so functional and attractive. The black accents work really well in this house. I also decided to add a bigger window in a previous renovation. So this is to the basement. A lot of people end up doing small little windows that don't let enough light in. By doing that, I was able to add more light to the basement and did a beautiful warm wood surround, which really helps let light into the lower level. The front porch, I added a bistro table with 2 chairs. It's a small porch, but I wanted to be able to sit 2 so that you could have a cup of coffee in the morning, a glass of wine at night. And of course, no social time is complete without music. So hidden in my garden are directional speakers from Control 4. The nice thing about these, you get music, but your neighbors don't have to hear it. I love a front porch because it's a fantastic place to hang out and get to know your neighbors.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you about next. Like, you've done a fabulous job on this house, but every neighborhood is different. And some neighborhoods are like front porch neighborhoods, and some neighborhoods are more like backyard neighborhoods. So do you find a lot of folks in your hood are out on their front stoop and their front porch? Because it's a great way to stay connected.
It really is, and I have gotten to know all my neighbors. It's a really nice little quiet neighborhood. And of course, having a dog, as you know, Tracy, is a great way to get you to know your neighbors. So I'd say that between the dog and the front porch, I know everybody.
Oh my gosh, the dog is the best thing ever. I mean, if I'm ever single again, don't tell my husband that I'd even said that out loud. If I'm ever single again, I'm just taking the dog to the dog park. There is like so many, it's a great way to meet people. Karen, you've done such a great job. I love it, and I love the fact that you have utilized every inch of space and made everything gorgeous and fit your personality. So well done.
Thank you, Tracy.
Really good. It looks gorgeous. If you're feeling inspired to style your own front garden, you can find all of Karen's tips and all of her ideas on our website. That is cityline.tv.